there, you're watching my channel, Kristin Cooks. I do lots of cooking videos on my channel here. And it is summertime finally, and I bet you're so excited, right? Just like me. So I'm sure you are just kind of stumped on what to make your family for dinner. You don't want to turn on your oven or your stovetop. And so I have 3 recipes that are perfect for summer weather. They all use a crock pot. So let's get going. Okay, the first recipe is a shredded barbecue beef recipe in the crock pot, slow cooker. So take 1 bottle of your favorite barbecue sauce and pour it into a bowl. And then we're going to start with the seasonings. We have onion powder, garlic powder, and just put it on in there. Smoked paprika. You could use regular paprika too, but we're going barbecue, so I'm going with smoky ingredients. And then a little bit of black pepper and salt. And then I'm adding a little bit of liquid smoke because, you know, I think it just adds a depth and a smokiness, of course, that you can't get from any other ingredients. So I like to put it in there. And then I did forget one ingredient here, and that is Dijon mustard. So anyway, we'll just put it on in there. We'll pretend I didn't almost forget. I'm always forgetting an ingredient here or there. It's just me. Okay, and then we're going to take, this is almost 3 pounds of a chuck roast. So just put it on into your slow cooker insert, and then pour over the chuck roast the barbecue sauce ingredients. I almost dropped it right there. And put the lid on and let it go on low for about 8 hours. It will just keep getting more and more tender the longer you leave it in there. And look at this. It just shreds so easy. This is after 8 hours for sure. So it just shreds with 1 fork. That's all you need. I like to grab a slotted spoon and put it into another bowl to shred it. I don't want to do it in the slow cooker because then I am a klutz and I will splash all over myself and stain my clothes. So I always like to do this step in a separate bowl. Just like this. Okay, and so here I am demonstrating how truly tender and wonderful this meat is. Look at that. Just cooked down to perfection. It really is. It's just, this ended up being so tender and wonderful. And my daughter likes to come in and check on me and see what I'm doing in the kitchen. She's also a good helper. She likes to help me every once in a while too. But anyway, yeah, I'm just shredding it up with my 1 little fork here. And it works just amazing. I will have all of these recipes linked in the description box. I'm featuring 3 in this video. All 3 of them will be in there. So then after you have the meat all shredded up, then just put it on back into that barbecue sauce mixture in the slow cooker. And this will keep it warm. And we're also going to turn the heat up to high and allow the sauce to thicken up just a little bit here. So it was on low, and now we're going to cook it on high for about 30 more minutes. And now it's time to put our sandwiches together. So on a hamburger bun here, I always toast my hamburger buns, no matter if it's a burger or a sandwich. Always do that. And then I put some shredded Colby Jack cheese along with some red onion, and then topped it off with the beautiful barbecue beef. And dinner is ready. I served mine with some tater tots, and this was a really great dinner. No, hardly any work at all on my part. This is awesome. I love these types of recipes. Like, no cooking. It's just wonderful. So anyway, on to the next one. So On another night, we had these slow cooker beef gyros. I love a good gyro, but this is by no means a traditional recipe. I just want to put that out there. It's very much not. It's similar flavors, but it's not a traditional gyro recipe. But anywho, it's easy, and I recommend giving it a try anyway if you enjoy gyros like me. So in my slow cooker, I just drizzled a bunch of olive oil, put down some sliced red onion, and then chunk up your chuck roast. I seared mine off in another pan before I put it into the slow cooker. You don't have to do that, but it just adds extra depth of flavor and really helps your meat to get nice and cooked really well. And then a bunch of garlic goes in along with some salt and pepper. And then I have 2 lemons here. The lemons are going to add so much bright citrusy flavor, and it's going to help to make that meat nice and tender. So I juiced 2 lemons, and then I'm going to put in a bunch of oregano. And that's all the prep I have to do on this. I'll just put the lid on it here. Let it go on low all day again. Okay, and then on the side, I'm also going to be serving a Greek orzo pasta salad. I love this pasta salad. It's just so delicious and bright and citrusy, and it goes really well with gyros, in my opinion. So in this little mason jar, I juiced in some lemon, of course, and now I'm grating in some garlic. I can't think of what it is. Some garlic, or you can mince it if you want, if you don't have a zester, but I like using my zester with the garlic. And then, of course, we're putting in some more lemon juice. Just like this. I'm doing about a half of a recipe on this. So, but I will have it linked for you in the description box if you want to make it yourself. But anywho, just straining it over, juicing the lemon over the strainer just to make sure you don't get any seeds in your dressing, because those aren't fun, are they? Okay, and then olive oil. And then a little bit of red wine vinegar goes in. I'm just kind of eyeballing all these ingredients. It's okay because, like I said, I'm doing half a recipe here, and I've made this enough. I don't need to be that accurate with it. Okay, and then I didn't have any more oregano, so I just used this Italian seasoning along with some dried dillweed. I would have used fresh if I had it, but I just have dried, so it's okay. I love the fresh, springy, oniony flavor of dillweed. It's just so underrated. And then here, you need to put in a little bit of sugar because there's a lot of citrus and acid with the vinegar and the lemon. So the sugar will really help to balance out those sharp, tart flavors. It'll mellow it out just a little bit, okay? And then put a lid on it, shake it up, and put it to the side until you're ready to dress your salad, your pasta salad. Look at that. There we go. Okay, and now moving on to assembling the salad. So this is an English cucumber, and I know that those ones are seedless, but I always like to scrape out the middle anyway because it just makes it easier to digest. Along with, I like to remove most of the peel too. I like to leave a little bit of the peel just for decorative purposes. And doing these two things will help you to digest the cucumber a little bit easier. Okay, and then put in as much or as little of red onion as you like. That is just fine. Put it in there. Get it diced up nice and small so you're not crunching down on a big piece of onion. And then this is one of my favorite parts of a Greek salad is the Kalamata olives. They're so briny. They're kind of meaty in a way. They're just, I love a Kalamata olive. And then feta cheese. And mix all those things up just to combine them. You can also add tomato if you want to the salad. And then add the dressing and just let it chill in the fridge. Okay, and then alongside with your gyro, you're going to want to make a tzatziki sauce, okay? This is very traditional with the gyro. You got to have the tzatziki sauce, in my opinion. It just makes the sandwich. Okay, so I have the rest of this onion here. I'm going to reserve part of it as a topping for the gyros, and then I'll put the rest of the cucumber into the bowl that I'm making the tzatziki sauce in. So you're going to put a little bit of sour cream. I'm just eyeballing this, of course. A little bit of Greek yogurt. This is very Greek, you know. When you know. And then I'm going to season it up. So I'm going to put a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder. These are just to taste, though. And cumin. This isn't traditional in it, but I like the smokiness that it gives and a depth of flavor. And then also a little bit of garlic salt. And here we go with some more freshly squeezed lemon juice over our strainer here to catch the seeds. And then we're going to mix this up and put it in the fridge until we're ready to serve. Okay. So now we're going to check on the meat. And I'd say it's done. This cooked for another 8 hours. So we'll put this, 8 hours total. I'm sorry. I was referring to the other recipe that cooked for 8 hours too. But 8 hours, slow cooker, take the meat out, get a big fork, and shred it up. So that, because this is not traditional in the sense that we don't have any lamb going in. I know lamb is very traditional in a gyro. I love gyros. I always have. Just so good. Yummy. Okay, so then take a fork, and as you can see, this one is very shreddable, just like the other meat was. So we'll do that. Shred it, shred it, shred it. And you're going to get some onion in there. That's okay. Very good. This meat was so good. Very nice. Okay. And then with both of these meats, the barbecue meat and this meat, if you wanted to, you could, and you have a Blackstone, you could crisp up these meats a little bit too before you serve them. That would be an option too, because especially with the barbecue meat, it was really kind of soft. Like it was just overall soft textures in that barbecue sandwich. So I think crisping it up on a Blackstone or a flat top grill with some oil would really send it over the top. Just a little thought I had there. Oh, so anyway, put the Greek meat back into the slow cooker and let it stay warm while you're getting the rest of the sandwich together. So in this saute pan here with some olive oil, I'm just going to heat up the pita bread and get it nice and warm. And now it's time to assemble the gyros. So here's a tzatziki sauce we made a little bit earlier, and I'm just going to spoon a generous amount onto the pita bread. I love pita bread so much. Yum, yum, yum. All right, and then I'm going to put on some of the reserved cucumber that I diced up a little bit earlier. I was doing my prep. And then a little bit of red onion that I served also. Or I prepped, I should say. And then I like a little bit of tomato on mine. It's very good. Then I'm going on with some feta cheese here. Look at those colors. It's so pretty with the red and the white and the green from the cucumber. So pretty. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my plate over to the slow cooker there, and I'm just going to add my very slowly cooked Greek chuck roast. And there she is. And then we're going to add a little side of our Greek orzo salad that we made also. Again, I should have put some tomato on it. But anyway, this was dinner, and it was really good. It was something a little bit out of the ordinary that we usually have in the summertime. And that's just great. Okay, so moving on. Last recipe I have to share with you is a slow cooker banana bread. So you're going to take your slow cooker insert, spray it with cooking spray, put a sheet of parchment paper down, and go with another spray on the parchment paper just to make sure we don't have any sticking going on. And then I'm going to start with the wet ingredients. So we have granulated sugar, we have brown sugar, and now we have 2 eggs. I'm also going to put in, I don't think I showed it here, but I am going to put in 1 stick of melted butter. I don't think I showed it. I don't know why, but anywho. Okay, and then imitation vanilla, and these are my overly ripe bananas. I just couldn't bring them, I just didn't want to throw them away. I wanted to make something with them, and I saw this recipe for slow cooker banana bread, so I thought, I've never made that. I've never featured that on my channel, so I'm going to give it a whirl and give it a try. And it was great. It's good. So then I'll have my electric mixer, and I'll just mix all of my wet ingredients together. That's done, so now I'm going to start on the dry ingredients. All right, so I have all-purpose flour here. And I have my nice big 2-cup measuring cup here. And I'm just going to spoon my flour into the measuring cup. This is supposed to help your measurements to be more accurate, so you're not adding in too much flour into your recipes. I don't know. I guess it's true, but I don't know. I just did it anyway. I don't think I notice if I scoop my cup into the big container or if I spoon the flour into it. I don't know. Anywho, and then we're going in with some baking powder. I have a little 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon here, so that's why it looks like I'm putting in a lot. But really, it's just 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This will be a leavening agent in your recipe here. And then 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda goes in. And then cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon, but I put probably 1 teaspoon, maybe 1.5, I don't know. I really like cinnamon, so I just put a lot in. And then to balance all the sweets in there, we're going to put a little bit of salts. Okay. Then I need my little whisk here to mix all these flavors together. Make sure the baking powder and baking soda are incorporated all over in the flour. And then we're going to pour the dry into the wet ingredients and have a spatula here. And this is gently fold the flour into the wet ingredients. Just to make sure I'm not flinging flour all over me and my counter, right? We don't need that. So just gently mix in the flour. Put a little bit at a time. And just like that. And then it was a little bit lumpy, so I went also with my whisk. I'm trying not to over mix it too much. just until we don't see the flour anymore. And then you know it's time to stop mixing. Very good. Very good. All right. And then this is optional. You don't have to put chocolate chips in it, but we always have chocolate chips in our banana bread, so that's what I did. Okay, and then now that the batter is done, now it's time to go into the slow cooker. So pour your banana bread batter into the prepared slow cooker inserts. It was kind of tricky getting all the batter into the parchment paper and then also making sure the parchment paper didn't sink into the batter. And then I just topped with a little bit more chips and put it on low, and this will slow cook for about 4 hours. And here it is after 4 hours. Insert a toothpick, and as you can see, it's done. There we go. We don't have any wet batter sticking to it, so then we know it's done. So then turn the slow cooker off and just let it hang out and cool for a little bit. And then you can gently and easily lift your banana bread out of the slow cooker with that parchment paper. That's why it's so handy to have it. And here it is. It's beautiful. It's done. All the flavors of banana bread that you're hoping for, and it's perfect. Have it for lunch or breakfast or just a snack. So thank you so much for watching. We really enjoyed all 3 of these recipes, but I must say that the banana bread surprised me the most. It really did turn out really well considering it was done in the slow cooker. Like, it's not the same texture as you would get if you baked it in the oven, but it's still really good considering, you know, it was in the slow cooker. And it's worth trying, I definitely think. I just really wanted to try that because it was such an interesting way to make banana bread. And I had some bananas that were getting bad, really bad, and really ripe, and really ready to be either thrown out or do something with them. So I wanted to try that recipe. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope I gave you a little bit of inspiration for this hot weather as far as meals go. And please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I do lots of cooking content on my channel, and I try to upload once or twice a week. So let's just see you in the next one, all right?